Last time on the Mystic Muses, Enoki, Svend, Verna and Moritas. After a fight with what was once thought to be a Fey ally, the group are gathered together, pursuing the High Mage that attacked Verna's home city, Varosia. Seeing a strange but familiar pink beam of light and a cluster of undead drawn to its power, the group follows it to discover Torrance's tower, draining the land and the undead of their arcane energy and absorbing it into his tower for unknown purposes. After stopping the flow of magic with their combined efforts, the group, through quick thinking, managed to sneak into his tower, only for Torrance to challenge them with a puzzle of his own design. He will talk with them on civil terms, but if they lose, the party doesn't want to find out. Schemes, plans, and mishaps abound, and the party find themselves at a loss. The last image they see is of Torrance, smug and satisfied at their defeat before the floor below them disappears. A mighty plunge. So now,
our story continues.
After navigating the elevator in Torrance's tower, the four adventurers find themselves in a sudden and deeply sheer freefall as the opening at the base of the tower slowly spills open and the vast expanses of the veiled rock beneath you slowly becomes visible. Everybody roll a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah, I got a 15.
Dirty 20.
The dirtiest of 20s. So, despite the lengths that you had sailed up, riding these crystals up into the tower, there's actually a much shorter fall between the base of the tower, chilling air, and the heavy of thick, salty water as you land in the ocean, or what appears to be an ocean. You find yourselves tumbling in all directions, trying your best to keep yourself above ground and paddle your way through. Everybody roll athletics.
I was going to ask, do I know how to swim?
4. So they're wearing scale armor. Yeah. Also, I don't know whether they've learned how to swim.
I did not learn how to swim. That is a 1.
Oh.
With a -1 for a 0. I think the moment Lord Elderwood gets splooshed into the ocean water, it's immediate panic. I don't think he knows how to swim.
So in the back of your mind, you hear a familiar and comforting voice saying, well, this takes me right back. Svend, buddy, take a little snooze, would you? And as you're there floundering in the water, Verna, you're slowly starting to sink as the rest of the blue starts to get deeper and darker. You look as Enoki starts to paddle their way through, just very aware of things, and finds their way up to the surface. Svend seems to slump and go still. The jaw on his hip unscrews. The little fish, Marvin the salmon, escapes. It starts to swim around you and around him. It starts to swim faster and faster. Much too fast for a fish of this size. The torrent starts to create a huge current under you, and you find yourself safely lifting to the surface. Verna, however, is going deeper and deeper until a firm hand grasps you by the wrist.
I don't like that.
It's colder than the water around you, but it's the first sense of anything that's come through. You see the deep black armor and the heavy smoke billowing from this arm as it cascades up, and it draws you, as though no time has passed at all, to the surface of the water. You see above you this immense figure of a horse, 10 feet tall, and on it a black rider clad in shining steel. Visions of cascading black smoke, skulls decorating the shoulders and the chest, and a 2-horned helmet looming there above you. Death is not very becoming of you. You have work to do. Releases you, and you find yourself instinctively just trying to kick. The torrent builds its way up as Svend lies on his back, just bobbing on the water, and Elderwood, you let the seawater out of your air, out of your lungs, and find yourself sort of trying your best to wade your arms around.
Yeah, he's just scrambling and he's ignoring the fact that Marvin's being sus right now and is just trying to make sure he gets onto land.
Verna, in the moment where the splashes happened and your 3 companions break the surface of the water, it is the four of you at the surface of this sea, with no other beings sort of visible. The only thing that breaks the horizon is one crest of sandy earth to the side, and everybody roll perception, actually.
Where are we? There were a lot of motions in your body.
There
You
were.
didn't
Dear
verbally
listeners,
respond.
one
I
die
did.
has already entered the dice jail.
Dice jail check. Make that a second dice.
Oh, joy.
It's an 8.
Dirty 20, because apparently this dice, as much as it's filled with friendship, has no chill.
The best way to be is having no chill. So it turns out, Elderwood, you see the actual shoreline of this body of land to the distance is actually quite tiny by comparison to the rest of the shoreline just out in the faint scope of your vision in all directions around you. You remembered when you first spoke of Enoki and the Dragonborn people. There's a great saltwater lake not too far from their city-state, which has always been a source of specific, like an import and export of salt, which was always used for certain curings and certain preparations for some of the things that your people were involved with. But again, you never really knew the details. It was always far from where the Lady of the Manor lives. But this is you remember from your history, it looks to be a saltwater lake somewhere quite far from where you once were. This is the part where Ellie's very sensibly opened the map and figured out where they are.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't remember that being a big old water in the marsh. Yeah, that's not good.
You were on the tower for quite a while. It looks like he flew you east.
Of course he did. Of course he was like, I have guests, let me fly them over.
Listen, I'm busy. I have shit to do. I'm not stopping for these fucks.
And as a point of reference, as you guys start swimming to this body of land that's within reachable distance, you see the blackened obelisk of his tower slowly shimmer and become invisible.
Shit.
Quick, fire a guiding bolt in his tower.
Wait, is it within 120 feet of me?
Smash a window.
Roll an attack roll with disadvantage. Wait, it's an attack roll for guiding bolt, right?
Yeah.
Roll with
Yes.
disadvantage.
Okay. That is going to be a 19.
Do some damage.
17.
So you watch as the form starts to shimmer, and as it's almost completely turning invisible, you see a large pop, and all of the shadows sort of around it deepen, making the tower that was itself deep black stone almost glow with its blackness as it hangs there in the blue cloudy sky.
And just as Verna fires this off, they're just going to go, fuck! And just fire it off.
You see this bolt of energy just sail across the sky, and an untold amount of rubble and stone cascades towards it and crashes around you towards the beach and the shoreline as you eventually make your way into this landmass here in the center of the ocean, in the center of the water. But the shimmer around it is trying to go over where it was destroyed, but won't. The top 3/4 of it is completely invisible, but this bottom seems to be like floating its way through the sky. This dent, this sort of concave area that has been blasted out of the base of this tower.
Good.
Nice.
Good. That's it. That's my last spell slot.
Nice.
As the two of you and Enoki sort of crawl your way up on the shore, you see the waves wash in Sven, and blonde hair is a mess. And the jar at his side is empty, but flopping along the sand, kind of like Magikarp. Marvin the salmon flies his way in and then just lands back in the jar.
Before Marvin hops back in,
He gets to the base of the jar. He's about to hop into the opening of it.
yeah, before he like dives into the jar, Lord Elderwood is gonna kind of use the mage hand to like make him bump up against something invisible before he can go inside, and we'll just be like, "What did you do?"
Yep, so you have the mage hand cover over the opening of the jar, and he's just there flapping. I do what I have to keep my little friend here safe and my other, much older friend safe. Needs must. You gonna let me get back in my little house now?
Will Sven be okay?
Sven's fine, he's taking a little nap.
He'll drop the little force field that he put up.
Yep, sure enough, Marvin Salmon hops into the jar. The next crest of the waves comes in, not getting anywhere close to the jar, but somehow the water bends its way up, fills the jar, and the force of the water inside creates a little vacuum for the jar to screw itself shut on his belt. It's at this point the two of you look to your left and you see Inoki's just walking up and down, pacing. Yes, right. Well, this has been a most entertaining afternoon. I have a lot to consider. I've just had a long day, so if you'll give me a moment, or just a brief respite, I'm going to take a little moment of contemplation. I assure you that when I am finished, I will give you my undivided attention on what I would like to do next. But I need a moment, if I may.
I feel like it's just not even like just watching that. Like,
Inoki, you're fine.
So you see, as you say that, dozens of little whiskers grow out from the long reptilian dragonborn snout as the scales recede and ashy grey fur starts to cover her face. And then in a sudden instant, her form shrinks up into a tiny little point, and then there's a little as it lands into the sand. And a little grey mouse that she just suddenly turned into
cute.
skitters away along, climbs up along Sven's shoulder, and then just hides herself inside his little inner pocket.
So cute, you baby.
So cute. Like a mouse.
Friendly reminder that this is the first time the character's wild-shaped in front of the two of you.
Have we? Yeah, no, that's why I'm like, have I seen anyone wild?
I mean,
shape
we're aware
before?
that people can be turned into or turn into animals. How's Donald?
It's fairly uncommon magical knowledge, so you know that shape changes of a kind exist. Donald's nowhere to be seen.
Fly, so probably might still be at the tower.
He's fucking dead.
Oh well.
I think Lord Elderwood is just kind of staring at where Inoki's form was in confusion, because though he has probably heard a tale of people changing their form, and like Donald is an example of someone who used to be human and is now bird, caw. He's just never seen it in action. And I'm assuming it's very much like the Animorphs transformation, but very a little more epic.
God, those books were absolutely
so
wild,
bad.
right?
Yeah, but Lord Elderwood's mind is stuck on the midway transition point image in his brain, and he's just
It's like you
trying.
flipped halfway through the book.
Yeah, it's just not. He's just staring into the middle distance now, trying to figure out his life. He almost drowned, and now people are turning into furries. It's it's a lot. It's a lot. We just got kicked out of a tower. This is He's taking a moment. He's taking a moment of contemplation.
Clearly, I feel like all of the party's taking a moment of contemplation. The only one who seems the most chill is Sven, who you now realise is a very heavy snorer, as he's just there on his
Deeply
back.
unconscious.
On his back, fast asleep. Like, the noise of it just rumbles the sand as you both stand there.
So we're on this island in the middle of this lake.
Yeah.
Bigger one or the smaller one?
Roll survival.
You've got this.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what my dice allow. It's another one for the pile. 3. Verna's pissed.
Yeah.
They're too fucking mad.
Yeah, and sure enough, you can still see in the sky that one patch of clustered stone just sailing away into the distance, heading further and further east. Some of the breaks in the cloud are starting to approach it, so it's going to leave your vision fairly soon.
Okay.
But yes, you are on this island. There's an unbroken sandbar that looks north to south as white to yellow sand crunches underfoot, with the waves slowly lapping their way in and out. Cluster of some trees lying their way behind you, eventually getting thicker as you look your way around, but the shoreline of the rest of the edge of the lake is off in the distance. For anyone whose passive history is 12 or higher,
Sorry. I was looking and I was like, oh, it is 12.
then you would know that this body of water is called the Lonely Sea. Because it's a sea, but it was all ocean water, but it was landlocked when the veiled rock rose from the ocean 250 years ago.
Okay. Well, once Lord Elderwood is just like, okay, Unoki's gone. I can't ask questions about what I just witnessed. He's just gonna begin wringing out his clothes and his hair, because he looks like a drowned rat. Like his curls are like, you know, those dogs that like have the like hair overshadowing their entire face. He looks like that now.
You're almost as emo as each other.
See a pathetic little meow meow.
Pathetic little meow meow. Because it's such a heavy material, like it's just, he's just wringing it out and like looking over at you and then looking back at his drenched clothes and then looking back at you because you seem very intense right now.
More so than usual.
More so than usual. And so his voice is going to crawl up into your head. Verna, are you okay? That was a silly question. I don't think you're okay, but I'm asking out of politeness.
Verna's just going to take like just a deep breath to try and calm themselves, and that doesn't work.
It's at this moment that the last visions of the tower vanishes behind some hazy clouds to the east.
I think they're probably just going to like, as much as someone that is like just very sort of gangly and lanky can just sort of like just plonk themselves down on the sand and just, even though there's nothing to look at, is just like, like they're not saying anything, but you can just tell that it's definitely an anger that has just been building. If that is like if like emotions and feelings, everything that 𝑙𝑜𝑎𝑑𝑖𝑡 can sense, it's just like this. It's not just like this situation. This has been
was the
something
penny that
that's
dropped.
the straw that broke the camel's back. Just
should you want to talk, you have a lot going on in your mind. It's very noisy. I will be dragging Sven away from the coastline and further in, and I will set up camp, I guess. Don't know if you want to. We'll talk later. And he's just gonna go and be like, all right, Noble Boy's first camping trip. Let's do this. And is going to try and drag Sven's body a little.
Roll athletics.
A little further in. I have got this with the power of anime and God on my side. It was a natural 19, but I have a -1 to athletics.
Oh, wow.
So that's an 18. I think I'm using a bit of my like telekinetic force to like help.
you're
nudge
using
him
Mage
along.
Hand to help.
Yeah, I'm just like.
Yeah, so sure enough, your two actual hands grab by the scruff of their shoulders and then drag along. The third hand sort of grabs under, and after a while, he surprisingly moves along. So you drag him as best as your ability, sauntering through, and eventually get to the edge of the tree line. It bows for a little bit until some of the trees look to have been sort of pushed back by either some loggers or some deforestation to make like a man-made clearing almost, and there's actually a circle of stones where once a fire pit once was, but there doesn't look to be anyone around. It's not too far. It does really strain you, but after a ways, maybe like 15-20 minutes of actual like intense labor as Vernon just stands there as a column of rage, you eventually get Sven there, chill and stable.
And you said there's like a fire pit.
Yeah.
And like where a previous camp had been set up.
Yeah, so from what you can gather, there's actually like a series of this area looks like a cluster of tree stumps, and there's very clear signs that these were like very jagged cuts, as though they weren't perfectly done like with a sword. This is very much like a a logger's yard, but they're using much more simple tools than, say, some of the loggers that would have built the extension to Elderwood Manor back when you wanted that. So it'll serve for your current purpose.
Okay. And there's there's enough shelter to kind of.
It's not necessarily protected from the elements. It's just like an open space. You bought some bedrolls from Mercanet's Adventuring Supplies.
I did.
Yeah, so you'll be out to the elements, but it looks to have been a place that people have rested in before.
It's not the glamping you're used to.
No.
Woe is me.
Not even set up for Wi-Fi. What's the century?
Pathetic.
And what's Werner doing in all this?
I think probably after 15, 20 minutes, I think they're still gonna sort of just. I think they're gonna just try and avoid saying anything for the meantime because I think they know it's gonna be hurtful to someone. And they'll sort of maybe just try and sort of start a fire or something, just get something going. And
So, Moritas, after you've set Sven up, and as you were dragging Sven through the forest, there were a couple of moments where Mouse Inoki just sort of poked her head out intermittently every couple of minutes, just to sort of look around, but then nestle away back inside. You hear stomping through the gaps in the trees until eventually Werner trudges their way in and nestles down by the fire pit and starts to light things with the tinderbox in your adventures in your explorer's kit. So yeah, roll flat dexterity for that.
I mean, you're so angry, you could just light the.
I could just look at it and
Yeah.
set it on fire.
Set it on
I feel like the
fire.
rage is that strong.
So potent.
Natural 20.
God damn.
Yeah, so
Fuck's sake.
yep. So with the last log that was there just immediately just woof, into flames and just starts to
That was just
crackle
rage.
immediately.
That was pure rage.
But sure enough, they settle down on one of the tree stumps as Moritas settles the sleepy Sven and Mouse Inoki on one side.
Plonk. Yeah. Setting down Sven. And I think he's just gonna seeing Werner come back. You decided to join us? Still angry. Okay. All right. Well,
They'll just sort of, just very, just wearily just nod.
okay. Never mind.
No, go on.
Is there anything specific that's causing you this amount of emotional distress?
Not one thing specifically.
You seemed pretty angry at Torrance.
He attacked my home. Okay?
Right.
He attacked the only home I've ever known. And he hurt people that lived there. He killed someone that lived there.
Right. Well, he's gone now. So
He's gone and we learned nothing.
we'll have to wait for another opportunity. We can only do the things that are within our grasp, within our power, within our capabilities. There's no.
That's the thing, isn't it? I was too slow.
With what? A puzzle?
I was too slow.
He was playing a game that was from his own machinations. Of course he was going to know how to win. We were hindered from the start. Nothing about being too slow. He's just a pretentious asshole. There's nothing we can do about it now other than focus on our current situation. He's gone. We have no way of finding him or tracking him. And we're very far away from our previous destination.
At least we know which way he's heading.
East, right?
That's right, yeah.
Could you bring up the map?
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
So heading out east, the main clear directions might either be towards some of the coastal towns of North Harbour or Communion, and then maybe as far east as the Misty Islands, the only real settlements that exist out in the Lethargic Sea. Or he could be going due east out towards New Raphael and the very large, influential magical university there, and of course, the home base of the Conclave of Heroes, formerly known as the Guardians of New Raphael, a conclave of reputable adventurers that have made their efforts to involve themselves in acts of goodwill and heroism across the world. That's what civilization-wise is out due east in that direction. You could very well easily be drifting south towards some of the dwarvish Goliath or giant settlements in the Blade Point Peak Mountains in the heart of the continent. That's what is in the general direction that he could have gone to.
Do you want to follow him?
I think we have to. Close to other things that have been happening back in Varosia. The timing is... It can't be a coincidence.
Magical happenings, you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
People have been going missing, and I can just... There's something about it that I can just feel is wrong. And then that same day, he shows up.
What motive would someone like him have to attack Varosia? I mean, given what you're getting round to kidnap people, I don't... Disgruntled magic user? He's intelligent, so I can't just believe it will be on boredom.
Unless that is it.
He's just bored.
Or crazy. I don't fucking...
Yes, I suppose people do.
Well, it's either that or... I don't know. Too many weird things have happened on the same day. You know, he shows up at the same day that you and they will sort of gesture at Marvin, and that shows up. I don't know. I don't know. There's too much is happening right now, and...
Well, do you think it is coincidence that he appeared on the day that you were going somewhere, right?
The exact moment that I was leaving, but also at the exact moment that you and Sven were also there.
I mean, I'd like to believe that I'm part of this conspiracy, but I am... Lord Elderwood you see here is just a simple nobleman.
I'll just sort of give you a look and just say there's nothing simple about you.
Okay, the clothing is a little over the top, I understand that, but...
I don't know. I think if there wasn't, so many different things that happened all at the same time, maybe I'd have a clearer idea, but
We don't have all the pieces of the puzzle yet.
we were so close to getting them.
It was difficult to outsmart him. And the first move we made, he knew we had already failed, and yet...
Okay, so it's rigged.
He continued to let us play.
Maybe because he knew he'd already won, or he already knew how to win.
I can believe that. Powerful people do the strangest things when they're bored. Are you hungry?
They probably are. Like, they didn't have anything at Malagros's house. It's been, what time is it?
The sun is starting to lose its color in the sky. It's getting to just after 5 p.m.
Yeah, then they probably are.
Party time.
Probably not stopped.
Same.
So I think the only people that ate anything within the past 12 hours.
Two people who are sleeping over there.
One of them's a mouse. One is snoring really loudly.
Yeah, right now Sven's got the ugly snoring face. I'm just all acting serious, But as you notice, some of the snore continues. A lot of his face right now, as most of you have dried off, there's still elements of seawater that's clinging to his form. And every couple of minutes, Mouse Inoki just pops out of the pocket and then nestles back in again. Even though she's a little grey mouse, there's still bright yellow reptilian dragon's eyes.
Adorable.
It's very, very cute.
So sweet.
I mean, Lord Elderwood would never say that, but Asta would.
Yeah. Yeah. I think same. I think Verna's just okay. And he's oh,
Little mouse.
cute.
And all the while, right there on Sven's belt, Marvin the salmon is just sort of swishing side to side, in his jaw,
This
looking up at both of you.
So
I
Lord
mean,
Alderwood.
what if it's, like he's, Verna will sort of vaguely sort of gesture in the direction of where the tower was. It's like, that was a water guy, like a sea elf or whatever, or like
Fishman
maybe it's him.
looks down at Marvin.
I find the accusation that all fish and water-dwelling people know each other highly racist. Tell them that word for me, would you?
The fish finds you racist.
He's not a fish.
The elemental formerly known as fish finds you racist.
Okay, well,
I'm going to start making something hopefully edible. It will be. It's fine. Just very simple stuff for like an all-week stew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that they keep, something that'll be good into like the sort of
You can eat
cantina
both
trays.
cold and
Yeah. So go ahead and roll survival, and if Verna wants to put in some of their input, they can. Then you may
Yeah.
have advantages, or you can both roll, whichever you decide.
I mean, I'm happy to backseat cook.
I think you might have to this time
Okay.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, 18.
So eventually, like,
Hey. He's not used to cooking in the wilds.
I'm wondering whether you're used to cooking ever. I feel like you have people to do that for you.
you definitely have people to do that for you.
I feel like it's like a good like 5 or so minutes of just like watching. It's just like I'll do it. I feel
No,
like they've
it's-
sort of
it's-
been out in the wild, sort of like
It's fine.
a few
You've
times.
been through a lot.
No. This might
I'll
help.
put you through more.
This. It's fine.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm so
Yes.
used to having people cook for me that
I gathered. Just a hunch. Just a feeling. It's fine, it's when we go out, kind of take it in turns to, provide
Okay.
food, and it's fine.
yeah. So tonight can be one night.
Yes, tonight.
After
I feel like Verna's cooking most nights.
after watching Lord Elderwood make some questionable choices about like throwing some of the meat cuts in whole, not washing any of the vegetables, not really topping and tailing any of the vegetables.
There's no seasoning.
There is no seasoning, even though you can see very full salt and pepper shakers as part of the gear. You eventually be like, nope, take things over. And after a few minutes of things boiling and bowling over, you get a very serviceable, very thick, very hearty stew down. And it's warm and it's comforting and it's exactly what you need after the ordeal of the
I
day.
feel like that's probably also like not fully, but like kind of like therapeutic for like it's just like working on something and just focusing on anything other than everything.
I think once you take over cooking, Lord Elderwood is just kind of finding that we're surrounded by trees, right?
Yeah, it's like log forest. They're like taller deciduous trees. You're despite how much you're interested in plants, you don't quite know the names of some of them. Yep, you're looking around at some of the trees.
Yeah. He'll like find a couple of low branches and we'll hang up. We'll begin like taking off like a few of the outer layers and begin hanging it on the trees just
To
to
dry.
dry it. Yeah.
Yep, easy enough. You find them sort of easy enough to sort of like hut and then fling them over so that they start to air out. And it's actually quite nice to like walk around unencumbered with like some of the bigger cloaks sort of billowing out. It's also at this point that you actually let the boot dry and eventually you're able to scrub away all of the swamp gunk and some of the swamp gunk off of that one sock that you stood 1 foot in the swamp.
Forgot about that. How
Yeah.
new were those boots?
Real new.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also feel like Verna would have taken like the cloak and like the scale mail off, just because that shit's heavy.
Yep. It's a real relief to be able to have unarmored and unencumbered yourself with heavy cloaks just to sort of breathe and chill a little bit. So as the stew is being munched and digested, the four of you, some there, some present, some resting, and some in little mouse form are reclining. What do you all wish to do?
Sven's still sleeping.
I might have put a stronger sleeping enchantment on him than I was expecting. Sorry about that, friends. He'll be fine.
I can't hear him.
Yeah, the fish says that he might have put too strong a enchant sleeping in a sleeping spell enchantment.
The fuck did Sven find that?
What are y'all looking at me for?
Like, how?
Look after Sven. We're going to get some twigs for fire.
Been doing it for months, friend. It's so perfectly easy.
And Lord Elderwood is just gonna kind of nudge his head for you to kind of walk a little ways away from the camp. You said Marvin was an elemental.
Yes. Yeah. I did, when we were in Milagros' house, did a little check to see what exactly it was that we were dealing with, and elemental. Like, that spell is never wrong.
Right. So he picks up undead, fae,
Fiends, celestials, elementals, etc.
and
Where did Sven find him? Or how did he find Sven, I'm guessing? Like, I don't know.
the only thing I know about Sven is that he's here for adventure, and that's about it.
We need to tell him.
The fish would be very displeased.
I don't give a fuck about what the fish thinks. Sven needs to know exactly what he's got clipped to his fucking belt.
Let's think about it a little more calmly. I'm assuming Sven has had this fish for an incredibly long time. It hasn't hurt him yet.
Yet.
Marvin needs Sven. That is as much as I gleaned from my conversations with it.
And people need things. People need things and other people for awful reasons all the time. Just because he says he needs him doesn't mean it's going to be for anything good. Now, either Sven is pulling a fast one on us, or he has absolutely no idea.
Sven has absolutely no idea. I have a feeling that Sven does not
No?
think much. Just
Wow.
well, I'm just trying to say, like, in a way that, you know, Sven only sees what's in front of him and not.
And has been entirely too trusting.
Yes. So that's
And
why I'm assuming
easily taken advantage of. How do we know that Marvin hasn't been doing that this entire time?
that Marvin is a fish.
No, he's not.
Marvin is a fish in a jar.
No, he's not.
Fine.
I mean, he's in a jar, but he's not a fish.
Marvin is an elemental in a jar.
Yes.
A pocket-sized jar that can very easily be thrown away at any given moment.
I'm sorry. We all saw, we saw what he did in the.
Yes, but he did that to save us.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think telling Sven is going to make the situation any better.
At least he knows. At
And
least he
what will
has.
Sven do about it? Maybe telling him before we have any actual evidence that this is a bad thing for him might push him in the opposite direction and make him want to keep Marvin even more.
Okay, fine. Okay. I still think. Okay, until one thing is proven one way or another, I still think he needs to know what Marvin is. We keep all the, maybe he's using you for some sort of nefarious purpose, which could be incredibly likely. We'll keep that to ourselves and maybe keep an eye just in case. But I think he needs to know.
Do you assume the worst of everyone?
Not everyone, just
Marvin has yet to prove that he is any more a danger to Sven than we are.
It's also worth noting that you've heard Sven a couple times say that he's been traveling with Marvin for 8 months. You've known him for 2 days. by comparison. Just saying.
As someone who has conversed with this elemental, comes across a lot better than other people I've met with nefarious intentions. So everyone is a friend until proven otherwise. You never know. Maybe Marvin will save your life.
Maybe, but I just we can't sit on this information for too long. It's either we tell him or it comes out some other way when somebody gets hurt.
Marvin said he's not ready to tell. So I know you don't acknowledge the elemental's feelings in this equation, but he has expressed not being ready to tell Sven.
Why?
Didn't really get to that part of the conversation.
Okay, well, maybe try and figure out a motive before taking his word for it.
Fine. I mean, if you really don't feel comfortable, you can tell. I cannot stop you. I don't think. So, if you truly want to tell Sven, do so. It's entirely up to what you think is best, Werner.
If somebody knew something about me that I was unaware of, I would want to know. And believe me, that's not as much of a hypothetical as you think.
Is there a lot of secrets you don't know about yourself?
Werner will kind of just like still themselves for a moment. I don't know anything about myself. I don't even know if my own name is mine. When I said that the cathedral was the only home, the Varosia was the only home I'd ever known, that's not an exaggeration. That is the only place in the past 4 years that I have had to call home. Because I don't remember anything before that.
Werner, it's at this moment that you realize that you've just spent a length of time in the ocean and you freak out wondering, is that paper still dry?
Oh, yeah. That sort of like rummage through like the little like pouch that they keep it in, and
Go into the pocket and it's there and it's fine. To let the character freak out a little bit. Don't shake your head at me, Asta. I am a strong, confident woman.
How dare you frighten my baby like that? Seeing you kind of panic, Lord Elderwood will kind of be like, Are you okay?
You don't necessarily see them panic so much as you feel the shock of, oh crap, just like wash through their subconscious and then immediately dissipate.
So you don't remember anything?
nothing. The first thing I remember is waking up in a temple in, like, this old ruined temple in, was it the mountains? In the mountains. Surrounded by bodies. And they'll pull out the scrap of paper. This was the only thing that gave me any sort of identity, anything to go on, and we'll sort of hand you a slip of paper.
This was something I made for Ellie way back when this campaign was being drummed up. Would you like to describe the paper for our listeners?
It's a scrap of old parchment that's been torn out of something, but like around the right side of it. Yeah, the bottom right of it has been burnt away, and on it reads, "Your name is Verna. It is your death," and it's one of the edges of the page that is burnt away for the glory, or potentially that, as half of the word has also been burnt away. And it's dry,
It's
like completely dry.
as other parts of the contents of inside your pockets are still a little bit slick with seawater, that piece of paper is still perfectly dry and undamaged.
So water can't hurt it, but fire can. So keep it away from fire.
I mean, yeah. I guess.
Lord Eldwood kind of looks over the piece of paper and will hand it back to you.
And they'll put it, like very quickly put it back in the pouch.
So this mission that you set out to go do was to find out more about your past?
Just to find out anything. I don't know what I was doing in that place. I don't remember anything before that. I don't even know if I was a person before that. I don't know if that is the moment that I just existed, or if I was something before that. I don't have any memory of any friends or family. I don't even know how old I was.
After you say that, it kind of clicks in Eldwood's head. So you came down from those mountains.
Yeah. Just to find just somewhere that I could go, just somewhere where there were people. And I found myself in Ferocia, found myself at the doors of the cathedral, and Oriana let me in. And she's the closest thing. She's the only thing that I have that I can call family. She's the only reason I was allowed to stay there, because nobody else would have let me.
If you would permit me, perhaps I can try and find something.
I don't think I would have met anyone that could do anything like that, would I?
To delve deeper into your mind and to your memory, you've always heard about it, but the mission to finding any indication of your past and the mission to keeping the swamp and the Great Marsh pure was always more of your priority, so you never met anyone who made that kind of claim.
I'm not saying it's going to work.
It's not something I've tried. I've not been able to find anyone that could, or would even be willing to.
Well, I'm already here. Half the job's done already. And I can already... When I'm not in your mind, I still get the same colors and flavors and sensations of the emotions that you feel. It's just intensified when I'm inside your thoughts, like a crowded city.
If you can't find anything, it's the same level of information that I have right now.
Exactly, no harm in trying. If I don't find anything, we're still at the same spot that we were in before. But if I do find something, maybe that will help you on your journey.
And they'll sort of, you know, the sort of stoic intenseness, and even the rage is sort of like definitely being replaced by like, I think that there's like a sense of hope that is trying to sort of be quashed, because it's like, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to give myself false hope and be disappointed. It's just like, oh, yeah. So they'll, you know, they'll allow you to dig for something.
Okay.
And if there's any sort of like checks or rolls I need to make, then I will voluntarily fail.
Sure.
Yeah.
The two of you take a moment to slowly
think
face
he-
each other.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever really done this kind of deep dive, like a deep dive on someone who doesn't remember, right?
You've done, I believe the Lady of the Manor calls them times when you decide to transgress the mind. You've done this sort of in practice with some of the help, but not against someone who has this many gaps in their memory, as it were. So this is a first for you, yeah.
It's just one big gap.
It's not even multiple gaps.
It's a chasm.
You know how they say like mind the gap between the train and the platform edge? It's just
like,
the
don't
edge.
fall in the Grand Canyon.
Don't fall in the Grand Canyon.
Okay, so you are at the edge of Werner's neurological Grand Canyon.
Yeah. So essentially, before he does any deep diving, he's going to hold out his hands to Werner, for Werner to take.
Werner will do so. Sort of like, like uncertainly, because like they're not used to being touched.
And as he does so, he's going to pull you closer into kind of
Say.
like into like a waltz stance, and he's just going to be like, focus on the rhythm. It's okay, just follow my lead.
I don't think Werner's ever danced before.
Then I will show you, baby.
Oh my god.
And he's gonna try and, because he knows that Werner was very highly emotional before.
Yeah.
And so he's
Big feelings.
Big feelings.
They're experiencing a big feeling.
And what better to get rid of big feelings than a nice, slow waltz? And he's just gonna take you. He's not an expert by any means, but
Okay. You can lead.
thanks. He's gonna take you through a very slow waltz, and he's just gonna keep reminding you, just follow my lead, follow my footsteps. And you know how like soft rhythmical things is sometimes used in hypnosis?
Yep, the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's very common in the time signature of waltz. Yeah.
Using that rhythm, that swaying motion, just really trying to get you to relax. And as you look into his eyes, it's that vividness of him just staring at you. There is no expression on his face as per usual. So it's slightly unnerving, but there's something about, for lack of other description, his eyes that kind of draw you in and almost seem to consume you. And as that's happening, he has been just slowly inching his way further and deeper into Werner's mind, until he gets to that gap. And then with detect thoughts, just full dive, is going to try and just mentally take that spiritual like leap and go past the memory of when Verna woke up to go further deeper and extract as much as he can get.
Okay. So,
And
as
he's holding Verna close just in case anything happened and you like go flippity floppity and he can catch you.
Verna dies immediately.
No!
Their head pops like a grape.
No, you don't have healing! The other healers are
I don't think
mouse.
there's much healing I can do if I've got no head.
So no head.
no head. Anywho, so the rhythmic motions as you waltz there in a circle, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, keeping things fairly hypnotic and consistent in your patterns. And as the sun's starting to set around you, the only thing that gets really visible in this forest clearing is the vibrancy of those bright blue eyes. You find yourself so calm and so at peace. Inside of Verna's mind, Moritas, you find you find the streets of Verosia with all color washed out of it. It's very sepia and very ethereal as you walk your way through their memories. The first acquisition and fitting for the scale mail in the Hardhammer Forge, the first real training sessions in the cemetery out back of the temple itself. You find your way into the cathedral and walk through some of the memories. Oriana intoning first teachings and first prayers and psalms in honor of the Grey Lady and their mission for bringing peace to those as they part from this world. Some of the jibes and misunderstanding and careless tones of judgment from some of the other acolytes about Verna's age. Some individuals you had seen when the elemental had attacked, but none you'd really interacted with. You get to a point behind the statue of the Grey Lady and wander your way behind, and the geography and the architecture almost breaks down. It's non-Euclidean almost, as there's a moment where the wall sort of behind, almost as though an optical illusion, you find yourself coming up to it and then slip your way inside and wander deep through into the terminal that wasn't there in the real temple itself. You continue walking, and the black stone walls that was once the cathedral slowly expands up into uneven, wide cavern paths. This deep cave is rife with the dank leak of underwater, running water, and it's immediately cold. You've been to some underground caverns before, and some of the basements from where your family did their work many, many years ago. It's a familiar sight, but it's not something you've experienced in a long time. You continue your way until eventually a faint column of light at the edge of your perception starts to thrum, and you hear the loose, bellowing, undulating chanting. Great tablets of stone, written in a language you can't quite comprehend, looms above you as you get to the doorway where this tunnel ends. A circle of 7 individuals in deep black cloaks stand around a familiar figure, Verna, wearing the same stylings of cloak, but with their back to you. They're all throwing their arms up in due adulation as they're calling out over and over in a deep guttural language that you can't quite follow.
Sorry, is Verna standing with them?
In this vision, yes, you are. You are standing in the center of the circle with these 7 other acolytes. You know this memory. You remember all 7 of these individuals, or rather how you found them. We'll get to that.
Okay.
The language has elements of jaggedness that sound familiar, but you can't quite place it. It's not something you know just by ear. But as you watch, the chanting reaches a fever pitch.
Does Verna look like they are participating in whatever this sermon is?
Verna is standing upright in military attention, perfectly still. Roll perception. That is cocked as shit. Go again. That's cocked as shit. Go again.
Why does it keep doing?
Use this.
Okay. Thank you.
It's okay.
Fuck. Friendship.
Oh my god, rude.
I'm sorry.
I guess my friendship sucks.
It's a 10.
So, yeah, sure enough, Verna's got their back to you as you're there at the opening to this chasm. And as you try to venture into this chamber and deeper into this memory, you can't. There's a thin veil holding you back. If it's the enchantment that's protecting this room or the limits of Verna's hazy amnesiac memory, you can't tell. But as you try to look past, you see Verna's back to you, but you can clearly get the tone of the grey skin and the curvature of the horns. But they are standing in perfectly still military attention, not breathing.
And these people are still chanting around.
The chanting's reaching a fever pitch until almost in like a chorus. From the 3 stone tablets, the writing begins to glow a deep purple as 3 jets of smoke converge around each other into a long twisting arm that snakes its way around to the far left of the circle of cultists. The arm plunges itself into the back of one of these cultists and rips through, reaving its soul. It winds its way to the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th. All through these cultists, they fall silently, heavily dead to the stone floor until eventually the hand very gently reaches itself over Verna's back and over their shoulders, slowly caressing. The shadows ease their way in. Verna stumbles forward. The writing sinks back into the stones and the glow ceases and they become the jagged rocks about the rest of the chasm. There's a small pop as now, as they stumble forward, you can finally see around them. There was an open book, like a tome, that bursts into a column of green flames, letting the rest of the pages slowly tumble their way down like snow. And one of these pages rests calmly in Verna's hand.
That's some shit.
The trouble is, a door once opened can be stepped through in either direction.
Oh
The hallway is covered with illustrious paintings of strangers that you've never met.
no. Shit. Oh, okay.
I guess we're learning something about each other today.
The tapestries are just deep red and rushing gold thread as you find yourself turned around. The architecture is beautiful, but gaudy. Where are you? What is this place? There is a heavy set of black cinderwood doors right before you. They slowly ease their way open, and a long chamber like a dining hall unfurls before you. You're early, darling. Welcome. It's a pleasure to finally meet one of my husband's new friends.
Verna will just kind of like look about and see if there's like anyone else there.
You turn away, but as you turn back, you find yourself 15 foot deeper into the room. I feel like I'm not going to do it justice. Would you like to describe the figure for you?
Oh my god! Tell me what your wife looks like.
Wait, let me get it up. Oh my god, I'm so nervous. I was not expecting
Your
this.
wife.
It's my wife. What are you doing here?
What am I doing here?
What are you doing here? When you were like, once a door once open.
My first thought was, oh no, something's gotten into Moritas's mind. I didn't realize that something was me.
I don't think. Wait.
Congratulations, you're both inside each other right now.
Sorry. Oh my god, I'm so happy for us.
I mean, at least we danced beforehand.
Yeah.
And I made you dinner.
You did. Wow. If we put tonight, if we summarize it, it's
This
actually
is a
pretty.
date, right?
Maybe that's why you're meeting my wife right now,
This
so
is like
I can be humble.
Step off. Okay, it's my man.
Before you see Lady Elderwood. She has onyx black hair that kind of flows down into a shortcut bob. Tanned, close to brown skin, and large, just playful doe-like eyes. Her clothes, I should say her eyes are this kind of pinkish, burning red color. And her clothes are decadent and stylish, like very reminiscent of what Lord Elderwood wears.
They have matching outfits.
They do. And her lips are red, just the perfect kind of luscious red. And there is just something about her presence, something about her demeanor that is both alien and just instinctively charming. She holds herself with this sense of power. A woman who knows what she's doing. Very confident, and I'm sure she doesn't look surprised when you walk into the room. Very youthful face. And yeah, that's my wife.
So at present, she's reclining in a very wide red leather chair in what she would describe as her casual wear, which is simply to say this sheer satin black dress with almost a flattering neckline and an immense leg slip.
Are you talking to me?
There's no one else here, darling. The rest of the help are asleep.
Where am I?
Elderwood Manor, my home and the home of my beloved 𝑑𝑎𝑡𝑎.
Okay, and how did I get here?
Well, I have the rare pleasure of teaching my husband everything he knows about the arcane. When he decided to look into your mind, it's a little bit rude of you to have looked into his, but what a great thing you found.
I didn't mean to.
Respectful. I'll forgive you for that then. So, what drew him into your mind? Luscious secrets, things you dare not tell? Ooh, must be exciting.
I get it.
It's happening.
He's helping me figure out things I can't remember.
Oh, how very quaint of him. He's doing such a good job.
What's he found?
Oh, I wouldn't dare spoil the show. I'm certain he'll have much to tell you when you both wake up. Now, when you've seen fit to do your business out there, tell him to speak to me. I miss him dearly and would very much love to see him back returned home. Keep him safe for me, would you?
How do I leave? How do I get out? I don't.
Ask nicely. She waves her hand, and the both of you snap to your senses as you have found yourself lying down on the grassy floor of this forest, and the blinding light of early morning sun rises you from sleep.
Whoa, how many hours went past?
How long were we dancing?
So you guys have had the benefits of a long rest.
Yay!
I spell slots again!
I like we're both like, yeah! Arms up in the air.
Hooray!
Yay! Okay, so I think 𝑑𝑎𝑡𝑎 immediately kind of like sits up. And I don't...
Same. It's like, huh?
That hasn't happened to him before, like going into someone's mind and having so much time pass.
It's down to the nature of how intensely far back into their subconscious you were going. It's also because of the time dilation, because the lady of the manor decided to mess with you. But you don't know that yet.
I don't know
She's
that
so
yet.
playful.
I know.
I think I met your wife. I somehow, while you were doing your thing, I ended up in your mind, and I think I was at your house, and your wife was there, and she wants to talk to you because she misses you.
𝑑𝑎𝑡𝑎 gets this. You mentioned one going into his mind and seeing his wife, and there is 1,000 yards there, like through you, as just the cogwheels are turning in his head, and he looks.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I
Don't do that again.
I didn't mean to. I didn't know how I did it.
It's fine. Just be careful.
Okay. And I didn't
It's okay. I understand.
touch anything.
Moritas, in the back of your head, all you hear is. Moab.
I honestly don't know how I ended up there. I wasn't trying to.
Yes, I mean, it was my first time diving so deeply into someone's mind. I found something.
Okay. That's
It's not particularly great. Actually, no, well, it depends on your outlook on things, which from previous experience has always been positive. So,
you're just so happy all the time.
You're just
You're
so
a ray of sunshine to be
cheery.
around. You're a delight.
I saw a lot of your previous memories.
Right.
Starting from your early teachings with Oriana and going back further to those caverns. And there were these stone tablets that were written in a language that I couldn't recognize, and there was chanting. 7 figures surrounding you, chanting.
Wait,
and
they were alive?
They were alive and they were chanting, and they were doing some form of ritual. And in the middle was you. I couldn't see much other than your back facing towards me, but I'm not sure if you were breathing. You were just standing there at attention, but I'm not sure if you were alive. And there was a book in front of you, a tome, that when the ritual finished, exploded into green flame, and I think that's where that piece of paper came from.
Werner will put the hand in the pouch.
It's as you remember it, but still there.
There was also something else.
Okay.
So, when the ritual completed, this thing was summoned from the tablets, and it seemed to reap the living essence from the 7 people, and well, whatever they did, it went into you. Whatever essence, or it was just this blackened, misty hand, and it reached out to you with great care.
I think out of all the things that you've said, like that last line is the thing that sort of makes Werner just like recoil a little bit.
As you stumble back, I need you both to make a dexterity saving throw as the nearby tree starts to topple in your general direction.
What?
No, tree!
No! And that's going to be like, and that's where we end the episode. Ooh!
Natural 20!
Oh my God.
21!
I also rolled like not as good of a number as that, but
it's
a good
still
one.
high.
18. Dexterity?
Yes.
This is the
18.
friendship couch.
The couch of friendship has
Couch of friendship.
Couch of friendship and bonding.
Yep, it
over
has-
trauma.
It has blessed your roll so that as the tree topples, you both jump your way back out of the way as to the distance you see this heavy-set green scale dragonborn with an axe in both hands stare back up at you. What happens next? We'll find out next time on the Mystic Muses.
Motherfucker! Oh my God.
My wife!
Your wife!
Oh.
Also, I
my
want you to know that
God.
as you were learning about what was happening in real time, I was also learning about what was happening in real time.
I have been
Isn't that the
sitting on.
best?
I have been sitting on that cutscene since we went to see Muse.
Really?
Ooh. That was a I didn't have
God.
because obviously I only found out through this RP that like Verna didn't have their memories.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you mentioned that, I was like, I do have detect thoughts.
Yes, but whose thoughts were detected? And what will happen next time? As I said, find out next time on the Muses.
We'd like to thank the wonderful Sirenscape for allowing us to use their revolutionary sound app, giving this podcast epic sounds and great ambient music for this adventure. We'd also like to thank composers Derek and Brandon Fletcher and the kind folks at Tabletop RPG Music for allowing us to use their sweet dulcet melodies in our game. If you like what you heard here today, be sure to give us a follow on Spotify and hit that notification bell if you'd like updates for when we release episodes every week. This episode wouldn't have been possible without our amazing cast. Ellie, they, them, playing Verna, they, them. Asta, she, her, playing Moritas Elderwood, he, him. And not to mention our wonderful DM and storyteller, Adam Ray, they, them. If you like what you hear, be sure to check us out also on Twitter and Instagram for updates. See you soon.